Coming up on today's show, Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins were phenomenal in 2 games over the weekend. We're going to highlight their respective performances. Also, a health update on Klay Thompson. But first, I don't know if you've noticed, Dub Nation, but because our channel continues to grow like crazy, we've been pushing out more content on Warriors today, and we're making ground on the Lakers report. Now, the Warriors are 15-2, first place in the Western Conference. The Lakers have nothing on the Dubs, 9-9, deep, low in the Western Conference standings. So let's continue to dominate the Lakers on the floor and here at Chat Sports. Hit that red subscribe button. We're about 15 subs away from the Lakers report. I think we can catch them by the end of the season. Welcome into Golden State Warriors today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Let's start off today's show by talking about Jordan Poole because the third Splash Bro was putting on a pool party and everybody was attending. First, against the Detroit Pistons, then on Sunday against the Toronto Raptors. Jordan Poole showing what he's capable of with 2 back-to-back very consistent and explosive offensive performances. We first look at what he did against the Detroit Pistons without Draymond Green, without Steph Curry in the lineup, as the Warriors were a little bit depleted for some rest days for some of their key players. 37 minutes, 32 points, 13 of 22 from the floor, 4 of 8 from deep, and his plus-minus phenomenal at plus 18. And then he comes back against the Raptors, really thrust into a big role where he got a lot of minutes and offensive opportunities, and he had the best game, arguably, of his young career. 30 minutes, 33 points, 10 of 13 from the floor, 8 of 11 from deep, and he was a plus 14. The only other Golden State Warrior in the history of the franchise to score at least 30 points in as few field goal attempts as Poole put forward last night with 13, Kevin Durant. Is Jordan Poole going to become the next Kevin Durant? I don't think so. This is what I do know. Jordan Poole, when he's hot, he can be an absolute flamethrower. And in back-to-back games over the weekend, in both victories against the Pistons and the Toronto Raptors, once again, we saw the depth on display for the Warriors. The danger of this team this year is that any given night, they have people who can thrash you. Of course, Steph Curry is still playing like an MVP. Andrew Wiggins, who we'll talk about here in just a few moments, has been the ultimate consistent player. Draymond Green can step up some nights offensively, but really his calling card is defense. But Damian Lee, Gary Payton, Nemanja Bjelica, there are a plethora of players on this roster who can hit you right upside the jaw. It was Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins over the weekend really put into an opportunity where there were some guys out, not getting as many minutes, and they rose to the occasion and played excellent basketball. Imagine this. If Jordan Poole is able to play more consistent basketball, especially with his shooting stroke, and become less streaky, look out. Now, when Klay Thompson comes back, Jordan Poole might come off the bench. Him leading that second unit is going to be highly entertaining, and maybe that allows him to become a less streaky player. But Jordan Poole has been a flamethrower so far this season, and he's been somewhat hot and cold. The one thing he has to work on is just being more consistent. And if he's able to do that, my goodness, this Warriors team will go from already being very dangerous to even more dangerous. So let me ask you this, Dub Nation. Have some fun with it. Celebrate the pool party from over the weekend. Did you bring a towel, and did you get soaked from Jordan Poole just letting it fly from deep? Get into the comment section and let us know. Type Y for yes, type N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. Let's pivot now to Andrew Wiggins because we discussed him on Friday in a video that I put up here on the channel about him basically becoming untouchable if Bob Myers does want to make a trade, which I don't think the Warriors have to make a trade to improve this roster or bolster it in any fashion because this roster is about 15 guys deep legitimately. The big thing that stood out to me about Andrew Wiggins this year, he's been more aggressive and he's been much more consistent. And you saw that on display over the weekend. In his last 2 games, he averaged 29.5 points per game, and the volume has been there with field goals, 19.5, and really his efficiency from the floor has impressed me a lot, shooting almost 54% from the field and 58% from long range. That's arguably the best 2 games that Wiggins has been able to string together throughout his entire NBA career. And once again, I want to go back to this because it's been a big talking point of this season. It's the depth and the multitude of options that Steve Kerr has at his disposal. And this weekend, it was Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. And against Toronto, in a really impressive win, they combined for 65 points on 33 shots. They go back home in front of the home crowd at the Chase Center, and they were really just lighting it up. Now, a lot of you are probably asking this. Andrew Wiggins, he's never lived up to the expectations of being that number 1 overall pick in 2014. He's certainly shown some flashes of being a very good player at times, but that consistency, like Poole, hasn't been there. What's different about Andrew Wiggins this year? There's a couple of factors that kind of come to mind when I go back and watch the tape and watch some of the highlights of what he's been able to do, not just in these last 2 games, but really all throughout the early portion of the 2021-2022 season. He's been a little bit more aggressive. He's been a little bit more tenacious offensively and defensively. He's been a little bit more consistent. And I think the big thing with Andrew Wiggins, overall, on both ends of the floor, he has really just become a more confident player. And that's the byproduct of this Warriors system. Of course, Steph Curry is the big key superstar, right? But when you look at this roster outside of Steph Curry, there isn't superstar talent outside of Draymond Green being an all-world defender. But a big reason why these rotation and secondary pieces are able to fill in and slot in so nicely, it's the system. It's the culture that Bob Myers and Steve Kerr have built over time, and it's Steph Curry really just being a selfless superstar. That has lent itself to Andrew Wiggins just feeling himself and being a very confident player. Up to this point, how would you grade Andrew Wiggins as a player on a scale of A, B, C, D, or F? I honestly think that with the value that he gives you offensively and defensively, how do you go anything less than like a B+ or a straight up B? I honestly might go into the A range. You let me know and sound off right now in the comment section. The holiday season is here with Thanksgiving next week and the holiday season quickly approaching with Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever holiday you decide to celebrate. And our partner today, Fanatics, has you covered with some phenomenal deals. How about this Golden State Warriors hoodie that's more than 50% off right now, only if you use that link at the bottom of your screen, chatsports.com/Warriors hoodie. Hook yourself up, treat yourself, or treat one of your family members or your friends with this dope hoodie with some awesome material. It is Nike, by the way. Or if you want a Steph Curry jersey, or you have some friends or family members who root on different NBA teams outside of the Warriors, 29 others to be exact, there are plenty of deals using that link down below. It's chatsports.com/NBA gear. Steph Curry jersey, Jordan Poole jersey, maybe even an Andrew Wiggins jersey, or merchandise from all these other teams. Links for these deals in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Fanatics has been killing it, we are killing it, and we want to reward you for helping us kill it. So use those links for the best deals out there right now for some NBA and Warriors merchandise. Let's get to a Klay Thompson update. Is he going to return around Christmas? Maybe even before Christmas. He is progressing very, very nicely in his comeback from that torn Achilles and that torn ACL. This guy has not played basketball in way too long, and The Athletic came out with a report as to when Klay Thompson might return to the Dubs. So let's run through some of those reports, and I have some thoughts on it with the rotation that's going to change, and how many minutes Klay Thompson could get. So The Athletic on Klay's return saying this: Klay Thompson came through well after a week of 5-on-5 scrimmaging and has been cleared to be a full-time participant in all future Warriors practices, sources tell The Athletic. Thompson is trending toward a potential return the week before Christmas Day, those sources said. Really is miraculous how well he's come along, coming off back-to-back severe injuries that can really be a death blow for a lot of athletes out there. ACL, then the Achilles. The next question, how many minutes is Klay Thompson going to play, considering the severity of those injuries? Now, Anthony Slater, who really does as good of a job as anybody covering the Golden State Warriors, did come out with an additional report on how many minutes Klay Thompson might see when he comes back into that rotation and who might slide out of that Warriors rotation. Anthony Slater saying this about Klay's minutes to be specific: I'd expect him to live in the 20 to 25 minute range early on, slowly ticking toward 30, with the idea of him getting over that hump semi-consistently near the playoffs. I'd bet they rest him on one side of every back-to-back, and if there was any soreness, sit him as a precaution. And I really think that's the smartest approach to take. He's coming off two very, very bad injuries. And the good thing is, with the Warriors at 15-2 right now, atop the Western Conference, playing really selfless basketball that is a highly entertaining style of basketball. It's a winning formula right now. There's no rush to bring Klay Thompson back. Now, whose minutes will be sacrificed once Klay Thompson does return? Because 20-25 minutes ain't no joke. Couple of players who could see their minutes or roles just diminished a tad, and maybe a player going out of the starting rotation, namely Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is the big name to watch, Slater said. He's currently keeping Thompson's starting spot warm. He will slide to the bench, so it seems as though that's going to happen because Slater has tapped into this organization. That may not be a bad thing for him, though. He's been a much more productive player this season when Curry is off the court rather than on it, including a 32-point night in Detroit on Friday when Curry rested. Poole's minutes will go down, as will Damian Lee's minutes and others, but a Poole-led second unit certainly has a ton of capabilities, and I really think it does. I like what Jordan Poole has been able to do in this starting rotation, but I do think that he could be a flame-throwing heat piece coming off the bench who's just a heat-seeking missile, and I think he does factor in nicely as a backup player and an uber six-man. He's currently up for the running for the NBA Most Improved Player of the Year award. I just think a Poole-led second unit could be highly entertaining and a lot of fun because of how up and down and streaky he has been as a player and an offensive juggernaut this year. There are some nights where he's been cold, some nights where he has been white hot, and players like that sometimes thrive and flourish a little bit more coming in off the bench as opposed to them being starters, something we will continue to watch and monitor here on Golden State Warriors today. I want to challenge you before I get out of here. When do you think Klay Thompson is going to return? Do you think that he's going to return prior to Christmas, after Christmas? You can give me a date. You can give me a game. Either way, get into the comment section right now. Let me know when you think Klay Thompson will return. And if you want to talk Warriors basketball, I'm always down to chop it up and talk hoops with Dub Nation, one of the best fan bases in the world across all of sports. Hit me up, Twitter and Instagram, @Chase_Senior. Look forward to hearing from all of you, and thanks for watching Warriors Today.